Koi watched from the hostel window as the three girls were dropped off. Each of them exited from the front seat of different cars, where a man stood opening the door for them. They were greeted with hugs and kisses planted on their foreheads. Soon they were outside the fence of the cemetery. They climbed over and jumped inside, heading straight to their hostel. The next day was Saturday, and the girls were to go to the school salon to get their hair done. It was a large salon with different stylists working there, but before any girl could enter, the three queens had to go first. They paid the hairstylist extra money to concentrate solely on B's hair. The entire school waited until they were finished before the other girls could make their appointments. Koi came from a poor background and attended a prestigious all-girls boarding school due to a scholarship she received. She and Ki were the only two girls who won Madame Margaret's prestigious scholarship, which allowed them to be at St. Georgas. Her time at St. Georgas incurred extra expenses, so she and her friend Kai made simple weaving styles for each other. They could not afford the luxury of the school salon because their pocket money from their parents was barely enough. After finishing their hair, they left the lobby and went straight to their hostel to settle down. However, Sandra, Jennifer, and Mona Lisa could not hold back their laughter. Just look at them, ugly monkeys. They don't understand that beauty is money. Other students joined in their laughter. In the dormitory, the beds were the finest in all of St. Georgas, decorated with flowers. As they sat there with crossed legs, packs of milky popcorn and smoothies were in front of them. Koi and Kai walked briskly past them, but as they did, Kai stumbled and accidentally spilled her smoothie. "I'm sorry," she muttered as she stood before them trembling. "You poor thing, have you ever seen a smoothie in your life? You have to pay for it. This is 10,000 naira. Kai opened her mouth in astonishment. "I can't afford that." "If you know you can't afford it, then watch where you walk," Mona Lisa said dismissively after Koi apologized. The next day in class, as Koi read her books, Mona Lisa approached her to spark up a conversation. "You are studying hard, aren't you?" she began. "Yes, of course," replied Koi. "Well, we have a party next week. If you come along with us, we will accept you as one of us. Many girls are looking for this opportunity to belong, but I felt drawn to you out of pity." Koi looked at her in shock. "Party?" she exclaimed. "Where are you? The only girl at St. Georgas who doesn't know that the three partying princesses always live for their parties on Saturdays. Whether the school regulations accept it or not, our parents are influential," said Mona Lisa. Koi noted this understandably. She had always admired the three girls. They were gorgeous and wealthy too. "Okay," came her reply, her voice slightly trembling. That night, Mona Lisa sent one of the students to take some grilled catfish and smoothies to Koi's corner. Koi ate happily, thinking aloud how this was what these girls was used to enjoying. Mona Lisa's father was a politician, while both Sandra's and Jennifer's fathers were honorable members of the House of Representatives. That faithful Saturday night was the first time Koi joined them for their party. As she prepared for the outing with the girls, her friend Ki caught up with her after returning from the salon. "Koi, you now make your hair at the school salon?" Kai asked. "Yes," replied Koi firmly. "I thought we agreed to make each other's hair," Kai continued. "Yes, that was before. Levels have changed, including previous agreements," Koi said persuasively. "Don't you think becoming friends with these girls is risky? It might get you into trouble." "Trouble?" asked Koi incredulously. "I've been in this school for more than a year now, and the three partying princesses have never gotten into trouble. Do you think I'm not using my head?" Koi continued. "They are who's who in this school and above the law. If I join them, I will also be above it." Kai was left alone. No one agreed to do her hair anymore. As for Koi, she now made her hair especially with the three partying princesses for the first time since entering St. Georgas's prestigious school. Koi was a slim, tall, brown-skinned girl who soon fit in with them as they taught her how to catwalk and talk smoothly while gesturing with her body. You need to master these skills knowing that you're joining us for clubbing. The impression you give men will tell how much gifts and money they will be willing to part with. Finally, it was Saturday night again. Jennifer, Sandra, Mona Lisa, and their new friend Koi stood close to the school fence along with their new friend Koi. They climbed over a low part of the fence, soon after which a flashy car pulled up where they stood. A handsome young man emerged from it and hugged Jennifer warmly while kissing her forehead, saying, "See my baby. Oh, I've missed you so much." He opened the front door for her while Mona Lisa, Sandra and Coy sat in the back seat as he drove them straight to his house. The mansion was a sight to behold, with its grand entrance, manicured gardens and a swimming pool sparkling under the moonlight. The interior was just as impressive, with modern decor and state-of-the-art amenities, a spacious living area that could easily accommodate a party. As they entered inside, Coy gasped under her breath, trying hard to catch it amidst all this lavishness surrounding her. The soft music from DJ, complemented by disco lights, left Coy in awe as soon as they entered. Both Sandra and Mona Lisa went straight to embrace their boyfriends, while Coy awkwardly stood in the sitting room watching them. This was exactly what her mother warned her against when she won the scholarship. Avoid men and concentrate on your studies. They are only distractions. She watched as each girl kissed their boyfriends passionately without shame. Mona Lisa noticed Coy standing there speechless. "Come on, girl," Mona Lisa said playfully, loosening up a bit. "Life is not all about books. You have to catch fun too." Coy stood there speechless, watching how easily these girls flung themselves onto men while wondering about how freely they kissed them, despite remembering her mother's advice. But these girls had never gotten pregnant despite being free with men. Just then, a tall, handsome man approached her. His aura didn't go unnoticed. "Hey, fine angel, how are you doing? Can I keep your company?" Coy's heart skipped a beat as she replied shyly, "I'm fine, sir. Thank you." He sat down beside her, introducing himself. "My name is Kay," he said with a warm smile. "May I know your name?" "My name is Coy," she said softly. "I like you. You look so beautiful, like an angel," he continued. Soon after that, Sandra and Mona Lisa arrived holding glasses of whiskey, saying, "Hey, Coy. Hope you're catching on. You didn't take your drink? Holy girl, you have to learn how to be a big girl now." Before leaving that night, they received many gifts from their boyfriends, clothes, money, and gadgets. And soon after jumping back over into their hostel, Coy too received an iPhone from Kay. "Take this phone, my angel, and also this money. Do not hesitate to call me whenever you need me." Coy was ecstatic. She had never used an Android phone before. Now here she was with an iPhone. She had indeed become one of St. George's happening girls. Back at school, Coy continued calling Mr. K every day when other girls were out of their hostel. She would call Mr. K, who praised her, calling many sweet names. She was indeed happy belonging amongst these happening girls, leaving Kai behind. By their next outing, they were at the same venue with different boyfriends. Each girl entered separate rooms, leaving only Coy behind with Mr. K, who approached wanting intimacy, but she protested. "I can't do this. My mother warned me against it. Then why are you here? Give me back that iPhone I gave you," said Mr. K, angrily shoving her aside, demanding. When her friends returned, Mr. K spoke up, saying, "Bring me a girl that knows what's up. I don't need these local girls who waste my time." Later that day, when they returned to their hostel, they scolded Coy, saying, "Look at how you've missed your opportunity to become a big girl. Why are you so childish?" "What if I get pregnant?" asked Coy nervously. "There's nothing like that. Besides, we have drugs that can easily flush away any pregnancy." Finally convinced by her friend's words, Coy made up her mind, wanting desperately now to be a big girl. After all, Mr. K had promised even marriage after high school. Coy threw herself into Mr. K's arms recklessly, abandoning caution every Saturday, going out meeting him. They would eat, drink together, often sleeping over, before returning back into hostel life, soon turning into an unfortunate norm where aborting pregnancies became routine whenever she found herself expecting. As months progressed, Coy became totally distracted from studies, moving from being top of class downwards, struggling academically, feeling weak, often fainting frequently. One weekend, after dancing, eating, drinking together, upon returning home, realizing periods hadn't shown up for weeks, She tested herself using pregnancy kits available within hostel, confirming positive results. Hurriedly panicking, she sought to find her drugs to flush away the pregnancy. After a long wait, she didn't see or feel any result. She tested with the pregnancy kit, but she witnessed no change had occurred. Panicking quickly, she went seeking help from friends, Sandra, Jennifer, and Mona Lisa. They couldn't assist, either saying, "Why are your things always different? We've managed our lives since starting street work. You just joined 6 months ago." Feeling isolated, Koi's stomach began bulging past 3 months pregnant now. One Saturday night visiting Mr. K alone, since he learned about pregnancy, he refused picking calls, leading back to his home where Madame Lorita answered instead. "I'm looking for K. Oh, he drove my husband out. Can I wait? And who are you? I'm his girlfriend." Madame Lorita laughed mockingly, clapping hands together, saying, "His girlfriend or one among many?" Koi, bewildered heart racing faster, replied, "I can't go back, woman, I'm pregnant." Madame Lorita scoffed, saying, "But tell me, why pursue married men whose wives and children live far away?" Mr. K claimed this was his house, Koi protested, trembling hands shaking uncontrollably. "Listen carefully," Madame Lorita stated sternly. "Ina is our driver. We travelled away 6 months hence why he began fooling around claiming ownership here. You're the third lady claiming pregnancy." Koi, dumbfounded, sat down, sobbing uncontrollably, hands clutching head tightly, wishing reality wasn't happening. "Stop, my dear," Madame Lorita advised kindly. "Do you have a mother?" "Yes," Koi whispered through tears. "If wise, I suggest you return home quickly," Madame Lorita warned seriously, left Koi alone facing harsh truth. Koi struggled to decide whether to return home or face the hostel again. She was unable to think clearly. All she could remember was that money was insufficient for traveling back. And even if it were sufficient, she couldn't face her mother after ignoring the advice she had been given earlier. Ultimately, she decided to return to the hostel, seeking solutions. She arrived, climbed through the familiar gates, and lay down on her bed, reflecting deeply. If the authorities discovered her pregnancy, expulsion awaited her in disgrace. But confronting her mother was an impossible choice that remained. That night, she slept over at Mona Lisa's corner, begging for forgiveness and pleading for help to get an abortion. Mona Lisa was hesitant initially, but eventually agreed upon seeing her desperation. She helped arrange an appointment for the following Saturday. She climbed fences again to head outside the premises and find a quack doctor who performed abortions using sharp instruments to remove the fetus. "This pregnancy has reached 4 months, the quack doctor warned seriously. "This process carries risks, especially now." After some persuasion, the doctor reluctantly agreed to complete the procedure before dawn. As she returned to the hostel and was just entering the connecting gate, she suddenly collapsed outside, bleeding profusely. This alarming scene prompted nearby students to rush swiftly for help, leading authorities to take her to the hospital. There, doctors struggled tirelessly to save her life, conducting multiple surgeries to stop excessive blood loss. But tragically, it was too late. Koi died on the operating table after losing significant amounts of blood. This story teaches young girls the importance of focusing on their studies, listening to their mother's advice, and avoiding bad friendships that lead them astray. It emphasizes the value of parental guidance, even if mistakes are made. Seeking help and returning to family is preferable to risking lives by pursuing reckless paths alone.